the NPC though, Mark, and first round kicking off over the weekend. You mentioned the Stag. Stag Day was brilliant. I keep saying it was like the first series of True Detective where everyone's wearing those deer horns. Just weird, but something so cool about it being weird, isn't it?
It's awesome. Like the bucket heads at Manawatu and the fins up at the Mako, and just I love the Northland supporters and the way they play their rugby up there as well in Whangarei. It's just awesome. It had everything. It's my favourite kind of rugby. No one's kicking penalties. Everyone's trying to score long-range tries. Waikato got out to a 35-0 lead in the opening game against the Steamers, and it's just all on, you know?
Yeah, that's a great look. The other thing about it is that I mentioned the Wellington Stadium, and you know, as soon as I saw that, I just thought, you need to go to Jerry Collins Park. You need to go back out the Hut Rec. What they need to do is they need to put these games in front of 5,000 or 6,000 people, like Bay of Plenty did, Mark, that really sensible thing where they go to the Tauranga Domain or whatever it is. It looks fun to go to.
Yep.
And when you make it look fun, it's like T20 cricket, you know, putting it at Colin Maiden as opposed to putting it in the Cape Town.
Auckland's going to Western Springs this weekend to play Wellington. There's like a massive fan day that MediaWorks are doing, actually. So there's a More FM family zone and there's a George FM DJ party zone. I think The Rock are doing a park up, American style, park your car up and
Jack Daniels,
barbecue. So they're making it a massive community event. And you feel like it is thriving in the communities where in the main centres it's battling a bit, apart from Christchurch with that awesome stadium.
Yeah, right.
And they're going down to try and get the Shield off Otago on Sunday. So at their glass house, at their indoor stadium. So it's just got great storylines. I think the scheduling has been perfect. We've seen grudge matches as well. So get your kids along, get your family along, get your daughter along, Watto, and your wife. Make a day of it.
Go on.
Hey, John, at the fan day, I mean, with your profile now on the round table, mate, I would have thought you'd be box office there, baby. Just
What? So, Mark,
you and Marty together.
What he failed to add was there's a newsroom section somewhere in the crowd. Watch how many fans go up there to interact. Oh, the news desk.
Yeah, wow.
Nerd desk. No disrespect, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, just going back to the NPC, though, it was great to just go back and see some of those players from Super Rugby like Torrey and Barnes having another opportunity to kick on for Canterbury. You know, the fact that Jamie Hannon's probably on the first flight if there's a lock injury, but he's got this opportunity to continue playing here. It's such an important layer for New Zealand rugby. Mm-hmm. Yeah, how do we get the crowds involved? Look, Eden Park is a cemetery with chips. I still just keep going back to what I said. I just think Auckland is a rugby league city at the moment, and I'm not sure how you're going to shift and how you're going to change it. But they're taking it to Western Springs because I think Chelsea and Auckland FC women are playing at Eden Park. That is the reason for it. But it needs to be there permanently, or Trust Stadium in Waitakere.
Yeah,
I like the idea last year where they started taking games to Auckland Grammar School to play Bay of Plenty.
Yes.
I went to a Mags game and I caught up with Duncan Garner, actually. I went to a Mags game.
Yeah, his lad's doing great guns at the moment playing Mags.
And they're a hell of a side, actually. They were very unlucky not to make the four. They actually won 2 more games than St Kennigan's, but it was bonus points. But, you know, it was actually a pretty good crowd there. You know, it was actually probably a bigger crowd for St Peter's Mount Abbott Grammar game than probably what you would get at most NPC games. And I think there is opportunity there. And, we're going to have the Auckland 1A final in a couple of weeks' time, probably between Kelston and Grammar. There'll be 10,000 people that will turn up. Now, apparently it's the curtain raiser to the NPC. Well, the NPC should be the curtain raiser of that 1A game, because historically what happens is the 10,000 kids turn up and parents, once the 1A final's over, they go.
Yeah, it's a bummer. They've got that's happened in the last few years. They've got to do something that is actually an incentive for them to stay. I'm just thinking Onawa Domain. Look, I was doing a gig for the Takapuna Club a couple of weeks ago, and I know that they've changed the stands and things, but we were there at the start of the year when they played Blues Crusaders Super Rugby warm-up game there. And there was about 4,000 people just in blankets having picnics and things, and it just looked great. And as soon as you get that kind of crowd going, even if it's in the pouring rain, if you get a few of your 100, it just creates an atmosphere that all of a sudden you think, oh, that's actually something I'd like to go to.
Yeah, and some of the games, I think the Waikato Stadium game on Thursday night, they had the camera set up on the stand that was closed. So all you're seeing, even though there are a couple of thousand underneath the camera, all you're seeing is empty stadium. So you're watching it on TV and your kids are like, I don't want to go to that. There's no one there.
There's no one there.
You're like, honestly, this is fun. This is great rugby. But they don't want to go.
Come on. Legoland. We could have some concerts. We could have a golf tournament.
You've got to show some other people being there having fun to actually want people to go.
Come along to Western Springs and go to the news desk on Saturday.
That's right.
Yeah.
We can pick holes in all the provincial teams, how they're not defending right or how some players aren't playing right. It's what we do on the news desk.
Oh, for optimism, Mark. You said, was it a yes or a no or a maybe? I think you said... Did you say maybe?
It was a maybe.
It was a maybe at the start of the year? Start of the
look,
program?
Yeah, look, I'm still optimistic. I'm still optimistic. But John, you were very optimistic last week, and I think this week, I think you said maybe. So I'm interested to see where you had a slight shift.
Well, it's just that it's becoming reality now, and the closer I get, the more nervous I get. You know, I don't know what to relate it to. There's nothing I can relate it to. It's like the biggest tour in 30 years. And I'm excited at the opportunity this All Blacks can re-establish themselves as the number one team in the world. But then as you get closer, you realise we're going to get beaten up for the next 3 weeks by these South African Super Rugby teams or former Super Rugby teams that just want to absolutely rip us to shreds. And then you've got a South African team that are two-time defending world champs with depth like you've never seen before, who can play several different styles of rugby. And my rugby brain starts to go, holy shit, this is really tough.
I absorb all that though, and I just think this is how I love the All Blacks, and more than ever, when all of this wave is coming towards us, and we have our backs against the wall, and everyone writes us off, and everyone hates us, and we're never going to beat Ireland because they won 18 matches in a row, and they just beat the Box in the opening round of the World Cup, and there's no way we're going to win that, and we turn in our best performance in 4 years. That's who the All Blacks are. That's why you've got to be optimistic because we haven't played yet. And all we're doing is we're just waiting, Mark, for kickoff.
No, there is just something beautiful about it, isn't it? That's what I miss here on the weekends with Test footy on the Sunday. I always used to remember playing my own football in the morning, and you'd get that smell of that fresh white paint on the lines of your own game and the lawn clippings, and you'd come home, the neighbour had the incinerator going, you had the macaroni cheese in the oven, 2:30 kickoff with the All Blacks, and now I get to wake my little fella up. We get to sit up there with a cup of tea, and we get to watch it, and he gets to hear me screaming at the television, asking why the hell they're kicking the damn ball away, and screaming at the referee, and he's looking at me like a lunatic, but I know in about 30 or 40 years time he'd be doing exactly the same damn thing, mate, and it'll bring up those wonderful images of Graham Murray scoring in the corner against the Welsh back in 1981, and
1980
I get emotional thinking about it.
Yeah, I do too. I just remember, Dad's not around anymore, but sitting in the lounge with him in a black and white telly and his mates and me and my brother and one heater.
The little bar heater.
One heater, an upper hut.
Yep.
If the bloody frost is like this on the windscreen.
Well, this will be new for so many, like even young dads who are like 30 would have never got up with their kids for a tour. Getting up week after week, getting to know the opposition, getting excited, bacon and eggs.
Getting to know your kids, because this is a bonding thing.
Yeah, mate.
And you'll have this forever. And, and this is the thing. It's one of life's wonderful things, sport. Sport is like music. As soon as you hear a result or think of something, you go back, who was I with? Where was I watching that? And this is,
Piece of advice, though, because I always think I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic, but when you do have a major breakup and your heart's been broken, never, ever listen to good music. And maybe don't watch the All Blacks live because you can take your heart, but don't let it take that All Black experience. Don't let it take your best music. You never want to listen to good music and then have to go and think about, love interest that left you.